address some problems with this forum. Parking and capacity. I've been traveling around the 17 districts in NC11, and I can tell you there's a lot of enthusiasm right now. I've gotten to know all of these candidates on the campaign trail, and I can tell you that when you pull a Democratic ballot on March 3rd, there's no wrong answer. Enthusiasm and the great slate of candidates we do have, we're going to win. We're going to flip seats blue that have traditionally been strongholds, like in Henderson County. I was born at Mission Hospital, but I grew up in Mills River. I've spent my entire life there, well, most of my life there, except for college, traveling around. But I'm currently in the middle of renovating my childhood home there. I went to Western Carolina University. I studied philosophy and English there, served as the editor-in-chief of the newspaper, Honors College Board of Directors, etc. And my parents were the minister and music director at the Unity Center in Mills River, up Old Canyon Bridge Road. It gave me a very interesting perspective on this region and this county. I was lucky enough to grow up middle class, but I was never insulated from poverty. Not a week went by without my father having to hop up at 11 o'clock at night and go write a check at the church, because if he didn't, a single mom's lights were going to get turned off. That's the crux of my platform. When people ask what my top two issues are, they are economic inequality, which includes Medicare, medical access, is currently your wealth determines your access, and the second issue is climate change. We're living in the only 10-year window we have to address some of these critical warming thresholds before they create disastrous ramifications in the future. And right now, we are living in a country in which 1 in 5 children live in food-insecure homes. The number's higher in NC11. 45,000 Americans die every single year because they don't have access to health care. More than that go bankrupt because of that. We are living in historic times, and this election is going to determine our values. And I am thankful to be part of a slate of candidates who truly care about representing the people. In 2020, I believe North Carolina is going to become represented by people who care for the people. And we're going to pass initiatives at all levels of the ballot that start taking care of working families. I'd like to read. It was recently Martin Luther King Day, and there was a passage where he talks about poverty, which of course I forgot to say when he's an accessible place. There we go. So his final book, Where Do We Go From Here? The curse of poverty has no justification in our age. It is socially as cruel and blind as the practice of cannibalism at the dawn of civilization. The time has come for us to civilize ourselves by the total, direct, and immediate abolition of poverty. When I'm on the campaign trail and I see this kind of enthusiasm, I'm hopeful. I think we are finally heeding the call to take those words from over half a century seriously. We are finally heeding a call to look to the future and imagine a better one. How many of you have been paying attention to impeachment hearings? It's tempting to spend today mourning the death of our democracy. But I'm not. And y'all aren't either. We're here to celebrate the birth of a new democracy, a better democracy, in which we stop letting corporate special interests dictate the conversation and what we are allowed to have as a society. So I'm running as a progressive Democrat. I'm probably considered the most left on the platform, but I'm 32 years old. I'm a millennial. I'm actually the first millennial to be on a Democratic ballot in the primary in this district. I have an interesting perspective on things. 71% of millennials would like to see a third party. I'm a lifelong Democrat from a family of lifelong Democrats. That scares me. It tells me that they don't feel represented. When you look at this district, it's about a third unaffiliated. Until you filter out people over the age of 50. Then it jumps to 51%. I have a lot of friends in my age group who are not affiliated. And it's not because they're centrist. It's because they're progressive. You're talking about a generation who, if you've been born after 2000, you've never seen the United States without not engaged in a major military conflict. I'm 32, and there's only been 2 years where we haven't been engaged in that in my entire lifetime. We're a generation that's seen climate change go from an abstract future problem to actively denied by people at the highest office. There's an old saying, my mom's fond of, if you don't have a seat at the table, you're probably on the menu. Last legislative session, millennials accounted for 1.1% of Congress. This current session, it's 6%. Millennials are aged 39 to 24 right now. The silent generation, which is over the age of 75, has 8.6% of Congress. I believe my generation deserves a seat at the table while our futures are being determined. The actions that we take on climate change in this next 10 years your grandchildren's future, our future. And I believe in representation, and that's one reason I'm running. That being said, again, I'm happy being a civic candidate. Everyone seems to care about the environment, and that's why it's so important that we maintain this enthusiasm after the primary, all the way through to November, and make sure we elect the Democrats. Everyone here speaks to the needs of regular people. People ask me all the time, how are we going to bridge the gap in NC11? It's an R7 district. We're going to speak to people, not special interest groups. We're going to talk about bold plans of action. They're going to actually change things for the working families in Southern Appalachia who have felt ignored for generations. My family's been in Southern Appalachia around Boone since before the Revolutionary War. I've lived in Jackson County, I've spent time here, I know it well. And when you really get down to the issues, that's, I think, what people are feeling neglected by. They're feeling neglected by Washington insiders who get into office, have donor lists, and stop answering their calls. We've seen that from Mark Meadows. This might be a little edgy. We've also seen that from Heath Schuler.
Yeah.
The day after he left office, he started a job as a federal lobbyist with Duke Energy.
Yeah.
This is why my generation, who are scared for their futures, does not trust the call to moderation. We do not trust the call to defend a status quo that is not working and is taking us down disastrous paths. So I'm running as a progressive. I believe in Medicare for all. I believe in a $15 living wage. I believe in the Green New Deal. I believe in higher federal funding for teachers. My wife is an educator. She teaches first grade. She grew up here too and went to Western. And she is one of North Carolina's many underpaid educators. We need to stop that at the state level and the federal level. We need more federal dollars so that the wealth of your zip code does not determine your child's access to quality education. I am the only one on this slate who is talking about universal basic income. I know it's generally a new concept of people, but either way, we need to start having the conversation about how to enter the modern economy. Automation and AI are coming, and we need to address this. I believe I bring a fresh perspective and a vision for a better future. I see the problems we face, the new problems, as opportunities to change the world for the better. I dream of a future where we have overcome climate change, where we have overcome economic inequality. And I hope you'll join me in trying to dream bigger and achieving that. Thank you.